Hey everyone, it's Kai, and it's pretty much just been just under a year since overDress has been released on the West. I think the trial decks got released on May 14th, and today is May 12th, so 2 days, and it's gonna be the 1-year anniversary. And I just kind of take a look at where we are in terms of Vanguard, right? Where we are in terms of each of the formats, how everything's going, and what really needs to be improved on, right? So what I'm going to do, we're going to talk about each of the current formats right now, and what are the pluses and the negatives, and where Bushiroad should improve on. And if you've got any more suggestions or things that you're thinking about, let me know in the comments below, all right? And this is basically the perfect video as well if you want to do other stuff. Put me on the background because it's just going to be me talking, right? So let's start off with standard. This is the starter format in a way, right? So standard as a whole, right? As a whole, has been all right, I think. As expected, this is supposed to be the entry-level format for new players, and I think we still are getting new players, right? We're still getting new players. In terms of like BRO, standard has pretty much had the most showings for each format, which is out of each format, it's pretty cool to see, right? I think in US they had like so many they had to revert to top 16, which is pretty cool. Like that's a good fresh start. I just want to make sure that we're actually keeping these players. That's very important, right? I feel like a lot of the older players will still play. They've got V, they've got premium, they've got a lot of formats to fall back on if they don't want to play standard. But I want to just make sure that the people that we're getting into the game, right, are actually staying, which is very, very important. One of the big things as well is the first set for standard, right? overdress started off well, I think. Everyone was quite impressed. But then the next few sets after that felt a bit average, right? They were a bit mid, They could have been better, right? They could have been better. But set 4 really changed the game, right? Set 4 really changed the game and added some new freshness into the format, which is great. And it's really what standard needs. I think we need a lot more changes in standard that can really freshen up the game. Our latest release was set 5, right, in Japan, and I feel like that should have just been a home run. That's like an easy win set, right? But it didn't really turn out that way. It didn't really turn out. And again, I've mentioned it just then, but we need to take some risks with the game, right? We can't just play it safe, right? We can't just print plus 2k powers all day. We gotta try something new, right? Triple Drive, like grade 4, they were fresh, right? They were fresh. They were kind of adding a new mechanic into the game, even though they're not exactly new. But at least for standard, they were kind of new. But there's something that's been done, and I feel like we need something new, right? We need something new. I think, like, again, back to set 5, right? This should have been a home run set. We got new dual clan cards. But I feel like they didn't turn out as expected because they just didn't feel like dual clan cards, right? So I guess it kind of goes back as well to like original Vanguard. Originally, like, sets were usually made up around of like 4 to 5 sets, right? And then every like 5 or 4 sets, they were like kind of like a block, right? And then every new block would kind of introduce a new mechanic, right? And it didn't have to be like a super game-breaking mechanic, but they were kind of new mechanics. I guess like you could say like the OG 5 blocks, cross rides, then came like limit break, and then after that came like break rides, which is using the limit break kind of bits, and then we had Legion. And then in G, we had G with early G. Then we had like 16 G Zone G, a G Guardian as well. So a lot of things. Like then we reached like Ultimate Strikes. Yeah. So there were a lot of things that happened. Later on, it wasn't really at least 5 blocks, but I feel like they could kind of introduce this kind of idea back, while forcing focusing on specific like new mechanics or things like that, right? Or themes, even themes when we think about it, right? That's really what overdress I think needs. If like the next 3 sets we had a theme, and then each set would build on that theme, and you'd have time to like improve that theme based on like the feedback from the first like themed set, right? Imagine like something very, very simple. Imagine like the next set is about like set orders. Like everyone got like a new set order that is pretty cool, and then you'd build upon that mechanic. Something simple like that. Or it could be something radical. It could be something cool, right? I think like one of the issues here in standard is that a lot of the cards are tied behind anime release, right? You know, they've got like 2 sets behind an anime or for an anime. And then they got the next 2 sets for the next anime. Then at least in set 5, okay, no anime, but we had cross Cray Epic, we had some nostalgia stuff. Didn't really plan it out. But I don't think we should be always just stuck behind this. I think we should kind of like branch out a bit more. So you can maybe try out new things. Again, trying out new things has been really, really important to me. Having something stuck behind an anime feels a bit, especially when the anime doesn't keep on going, right? Previously, in the original Vanguard, the anime just kept on going and going and going. So you always have new cards popping up and you'll just print cards for that. But now we have seasons, we want to have like a high quality of anime or a different way of making the anime. So not everything can be tied behind the anime, but I still feel like a lot of things are tied behind. When we don't have an anime, what we get is nostalgia, which, sure, all right, nostalgia sometimes is good. I think the cross Cray Epic stuff is nice. I hope they build upon that more, but I hope it gives it like more identity. But also, I hope it doesn't mean like we have a cross Cray Epic like dual nation thing here, and then suddenly the next 2 sets kind of just swap it all up. We don't care about it anymore until the anime is over. I think that would be bad, right? I think that would be bad. And then the other stuff we have is just a bunch of collab sets as well to fill up the void. I personally, I know a lot of people have big opinions on collab sets. I'm personally not too fussed. I don't mind them. It just sometimes means Tuesday streams are a bit boring, but you just have to pair it with other releases too, I think. I think overall, if they get good collabs, right? If they get really, really good collabs or big collabs, it can be a huge benefit to the game, right? I think for the West, we don't really care that much about collabs, but if something like Monster Strike hit Japan, Shaman King hit Japan, that's definitely going to make big waves on their scene that we maybe don't see on our side. Maybe we can get like English collabs. Just a thought. I mean, why Schwartz got English collabs, and I mean the Valkyrie set, that's kind of like a simultaneous release as well. So if in terms of collabs they had more things that maybe targeted the West, then we might care about a war. But in terms like for us, for me to be honest, I don't really care as that much, right? I don't really care that much. One of the things as well that I kind of want to bring up, and this is something that a lot of people are now pretty bored of already, or just already sick of arguing, that is overtriggers, right? We've had like this discussion, we've had a lot of times, but I think it's still something that I have to bring up because we're gonna start to see maybe some of the long-term effects of overtriggers remaining in the game. Right? Especially now that they've introduced triple drive, right? Triple drive just makes these overtriggers much more visible, right? Much more visible. And then, like in the VMC tournament, for example, that was streamed, we've definitely we saw the overtrigger decide a lot of games, right? A lot of games. And if that is what standard is kind of recognized for, I don't know if that's a good thing, right? It's not great. And also with the triple drive as well, right? When triple drive was first introduced in the OG like G era, there was actually 3 ways to counter it too, right? So one was just PG it, right? Second was 3 to pass, right? And the third was just no guard it, yeah, no guard it. With an overtrigger though, right? There's not really a way to correctly guard that because the overtrigger negates a 3 to pass. And then sometimes the overtrigger will just kill you when you no guard because you just don't have enough of the resources to guard 100 million power, right? And again, like as Premium evolved or as G evolved, we got G Guardians, which made it easier. But we don't have that in standard. We just don't have that in standard. So these games can really be just decided very quickly by that OT, right? And again, triple drive, we're going to see it way more often. I honestly don't know the solution to this at the moment. I'm not sure if Bushiro knows the solution to this, to be honest. I think some of this goes back to like the beginning of overdress, where they had to put in some restrictions, like to the critical trigger, for example. And then there was like some criticism over like card design, like Leonard. Then there was like a huge ban list for premium. I think a bunch of these things piled up. So it just means that Bushi is kind of reluctant to take risks as well as make changes. So I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting to see how they approach something. Maybe it's just not an issue for them at all. I personally think it is. I know a lot of people do think it is. But yeah, But yeah, that's I think I'm gonna have a chat about Risk later on in this, and we'll return back to this idea, right? Let's kind of talk about the other formats too. Let's jump to Premium. Premium as a whole has been really, really good, right? After the huge like restriction that we got, which is what the format really needed, we've been seeing a lot of innovation in the format, and then overall like the attendance for Premium tournaments has been quite good as well. Like, I'm actually quite surprised about this. A lot of people do say, you know, Premium is a dead format. There's literally like 5 people playing it. But when we look at some of the results and some of the attendance for like Springfest, even like BRO, Premium had a lot of players playing, which is good. Which is good. The format is relatively healthy, and it just kind of shows like the higher ups, hey, there is a demand for this format. You guys should just take notice, right? Take notice. So I actually do hope Bushiroad, like, you know, does keep an eye on this format. You know, they look at it and go, okay, there is demand for this. Let's maybe cater to this format a bit more. But also, just saying, this is what a good format looks like. This is like before the big ban list hit, right? We had this many people playing, but after doing a ban list properly, so many people are interested, and they're staying interested. That's what's really, really important. So I hope they keep an eye on that, and they keep the ban list up to date, right? We don't want to kind of degenerate back to like the previous format where it was really, really bad. We just want to keep, if something needs to be hit, just hit it. I think people playing Premium perfectly understand that, because it is a big format. A lot of things happen with big formats, and you just gotta deal. It is probably better to deal with it now than let it fester for like X years and then having to ban like 20 things at once, right? So overall, I think Premium is pretty good. I think a lot of people do agree with me, and I agree with them that, you know, maybe some things do need to be hit right now, right? Maybe we need to touch like something, right? Maybe a genie, right? Maybe that needs to hit. But overall, even if there are no hits currently in Premium, I think it's overall quite okay, right? It's still quite okay, and everyone is having fun. I think one of the big things as well, I do hope that Bushi does, well, there is some interest in Japan for this format as well, because that means we'll be able to have like a global unified interest there, where that just means Premium gets more support. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, pretty cool. Premium Collection 2022 also looks very, very nice. Or P Clan Collection looks very, very nice. So I think everyone is quite hype, right? It's quite hype. So yeah, that's good. Good. And then lastly, we have V Premium as well. This one, V Premium is at a weird, it's actually at a weird place, right? It's actually at a weird place. We're looking at V Prem. It hasn't really changed much in the past 2 years. What, like past 2 years? It's been pretty samey. Maybe not 2 years. I mean, 2 years is a bit long. Maybe like one. I think 1.5 is better, right? 1.5 is better, right? It's got to do with just V Premium as a format, right? When Premium gets any set, right? Premium technically changes, or it can change slightly, right? But V Premium only ever changes when Clan Collection sets are released, or promos are released, right? So I think this kind of comes back to Risk again, right? Again, it just feels like Bushiroad doesn't really want to increase a lot of power into this format via these Clan Collection sets, because we've had some issues with V before, right? Let's be real here, right? We've had Luard issues, yeah. We had Divine Lightning Radiance issues where, you know, we've had Gurgits, we had Percival, we had Hamiel, right? Oh, how come they just all came from that one set? You know, we had Melody issues from Bermuda Triangle as well. There was some incredibly powerful cards. So I can kind of understand if Bushiroad's like, maybe we shouldn't be printing these kind of powerful cards in the future, but we have a problem. Because again, these Clan Collection sets do only come out every 6 months, and if they don't change the format, then we're going to be playing the same thing for the next 6 months. Yeah. So I think, again, we've seen Bushiroad design good cards. They've been creative. They've been creative in the past, right? I think the first Clan Selection stuff, really creative, right? Really good. The recent stuff, still creative. They're still very creative cards, but they don't impact the competitive format, which is not too great, right? It's not too great. So I hope they do. I actually hope they do. I want Clan Collection to be like a set that impacts V. Not just, it's just not not just make it an extended premium clan collection set, right? We'll go, oh yes, the new grade 1 is amazing. I'd love to put that in my premium deck, but I'd never put any of these cards in my Shaharot deck right now, right? That's kind of what it's feeling like, and I think that really needs to change. Like if we look at it seriously for a bit, right? What are the biggest impact cards from the last few clan collections? Like Jewel Knights, maybe, right? Salome, very impactful in terms of everything about it. But Raging Form, that only kind of became super good because Luard got banned, right? Yeah. What else? What is Prism? Prism's still around. Gurgit, hey. Hamiel was a thing for a while until very recently. Yeah. It's kind of like, right now it's Night Rose, right? Night Rose, Genesis. You know, these are the same kind of decks that's been lasting for a very long time. I feel like, you know, when it's been this long, I think it's really time. It's really time for change, right? I don't think this is a good thing. I don't think having the same similar format is a good thing. You know, it's a good thing. There needs to be. We're entering like the 4th clan collection product, right? If we're counting clan selection, and you know, I think we need changes. We need changes, you know. So don't be afraid to take risks. Print some better stuff. I think like here's the thing. I don't even think people want to just be playing with Divine Lightning Radiant stuff for so long as well, because hey, you know, there's things like the VR kind of reprint ban that makes it hard to sometimes just get some of the V cards. Yeah, I mean, some of the old stuff is hard to get. Just print the new stuff so we can play with the new stuff, you know. So I don't know. Don't be afraid to print some powerful creative cards. Just don't be afraid of that. I guess the best card printed from Clan Collection has been Heal Guardians, right? They've been Heal Guardians, and that was basically premium support. But no, they were just great support, right? They were just great support in general. So, I like that. Just like Heal Guardians is kind of a solution to a lot of things, right? Just don't be afraid to you know, take some risks, and if you need to like rectify things, you can just print something like a Heal Guardian, something cool like that. You can turn a loss into a win, you know. And I think that's you just gotta take that step, right? You just gotta take that step. But that's kind of just me rambling along quite a bit about V. I also have to say, good job on the global side, the global team, for making those changes for the Western side for V at least. Because otherwise, if there weren't any changes, I think V right now would be kind of a snooze fest, right? We'll actually just be playing the same Prism deck. Of course, Prism is still a thing right now, but we'll actually just still be playing the super good Prism deck we've been playing before, or the Melody deck if you want to play it that way. We'll still be playing Luard. Yeah, we'll still be playing that's Springfest. It would have been very easy to make a Springfest team, that's for sure, right? And it wouldn't have been very fun. So yeah, good job on the global side for implementing that separate ban list. I think they could have hit Prism a bit more. I think they could have done that. But you know, things might resolve themselves if next clan collection is good. Confidence. But that's also very important too. It just means that in the future we might get separate ban lists for other formats, which is pretty important, pretty nice. So yeah, that is cool. Definitely need some help with V at the moment. V is the one that probably you want to see something happen to. But otherwise, in terms of all the 3 formats, they're kind of in an okay place, right? They're kind of in an okay place. If I want to rank them, I think Premium is in the best place, then Standard, and then probably V. Yeah. Let's talk about tournaments, right? Because Springfest is currently on. It is basically our first major tournament in real life in the past 2 years, right? In the past 2 years. That's pretty crazy, right? As we see like a lot of posts, a lot of vibe posts about like good times. And there's also some posts like about some bad times, right? I mean, it happens, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. I just kind of want to say a few things though, right? Like, one, let's just not jump to conclusions or exaggerate like things just to make just like make things up, right? Just let's give each other patience, right? It's for every party, for not just like the players but also the staff. It's been a while since they've been at these like real life events. There's a lot of things they need to be careful of because there's extra restrictions and all that. But you know, there's definitely there's especially new staff members that are coming in to like help out. And just overall, because there hasn't been an event in 2 years, things are gonna be rusty. Some things have changed as well, right? Things definitely have changed that they do need to work out. And I think honestly, Springfest is the perfect place to do it, because Springfest is kind of this fun time where there's not really any super repercussions, right? If you screw something up in a BCS, then it affects the next tournament, which is Worlds. It also affects, like, you know, who gets the invite. With this, it's literally just have a tournament, here are the prizes, here you go, have fun. See you next time, right? See you next time. So if they want to try things out, if they want to iron things out, they definitely have some teething issues they need to sort out. This is the perfect time to do it, because if we do have that BCS, I don't know if we do, right? I don't know if we do, but if in the second half of the year, that is the important stuff. So let's get it all worked out now, and then later on we'll have less issues. And that goes for the players too, right? If you're being less lax, like, I know about the sleeving stuff, sleeve issues, they will let the staff sort it out themselves, right? But things like submitting wrong deck lists, I don't know how like this is a staffing issue. This is a player issue, right? If you're submitting your deck list and then playing the wrong card in your deck, or playing a different version of the card in your deck, I think that's a you problem, right? I think that's a you problem. So, you know, I think people have been quite lax recently. They've just been like, yeah, you don't have to worry about a lot of these things. You know, some of the things don't have to. Yeah, it'll work itself. No, these lead to game losses. You have to be careful. And luckily for you, well, maybe not luckily for you, right? Because you're gonna let the team down if you get a game loss. But later on, you know, when BCS has, like, you know, maybe plane prizes like flights, you don't want to be losing on technicalities like that. So yeah, let's sort that out. Right, let's sort that out. Yeah, that's kind of it. I also just want to say that if they do implement more policies, like maybe a sleeving policy in the future, let's remember the most important thing about these tournaments, in that it's important to still keep the tournaments fun, right? You know, of course, when you go to a tournament, it's like a super serious location. Well, not super serious. It's a more serious location where you play serious games, right? Yeah, but you know, you still have to have fun, right? You still have to have fun. If you're not having fun, what are you doing? You're just gonna burn yourself out. Like, people go to these events to have fun. They travel for like meeting up other people, right? They want to hang out. They want to share stories. They also want to play card games, but overall, they still want to have fun. So if we're removing the fun element from these tournaments, then people just aren't gonna go, right? They're just not gonna go. Like people like winning. People like winning. But they also like having fun too. So you can't just rely on just, okay, this is going to be the super serious tournament. Yeah, then you got to do this, and this. You gotta wear like the yellow and a red sock, right? If it's too complicated, people are just gonna, what's the point, man? I'm spending X hours to get there. I'm practicing. I'm paying money to, and then I'm just gonna lose in game loss or something like that, because, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I just won't bother. You don't want that to happen. You want to keep the fun, like, you want to keep the funness in there, as well as still having that competitive fun as well. So you got to balance them out. So let's just kind of make sure that let's just if we're making those policies, let's keep it kind of in check, right? Kind of reasonable, but also, yeah, the players, don't just keep on making things up. Not everything is a DQ, right? Remember, a DQ in a Bushiroad tournament, that's usually something very, very serious, which is either unsportsmanlike conduct or fighting, or something like that, right? It has to be something really, really serious for you to get a DQ. So if you get a game loss, don't just go to internet and say, I got DQ'd. No, you got a game loss, and that, unfortunately, you know, because it's the best of one, you lost, right? That's just it. Don't make things up, and don't exaggerate things. That's pretty much it. But yeah, that is kind of it. I guess that's kind of all the things I kind of want to say. 1 year of Vanguard, and let's kind of let's kind of bring it all back, right? Let's kind of bring it all back. So one of the things I want to say is, like, Bushiroad, don't be afraid to take risks, right? pretty much it's been over 10 years since the game first started. And we've definitely had like ups and downs. Vanguards have had its ups and downs. We know where they are. And you know, Vanguard itself was gifted some fortunate times at the beginning, right? They had like things blew favorably in their way, right? You know, a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh players at the time also just stopped playing. They went, wow, Vanguard's really fun. And we've had like the golden age of Vanguard, but that doesn't mean like the golden age, you know, it doesn't mean like it's done, right? We're never gonna get in the golden age again. But if you want to get like the next golden time, the next good times, you have to be willing to take risks. And that also means that, you know, look, if you're taking risks, you either get some big wins or you get some you have like great ideas or you get some terrible ideas, right? That's just how it is. That's just how it is. But they are still ideas. And as a whole, the rest of the game just benefits for that, because you either get like amazing addition to the game, right? Like a G Guardian, for example, or just simply learning that, you know, it didn't work as intended, right? That idea that you had sounded really, really good, but it didn't work as you thought it would. So you gotta learn. Maybe we just don't do it that way. And sometimes, you know, when people look back with nostalgia goggles, they go, wow, that was a really fun mechanic, like Limit Break. Whoa, yeah, that was great, right? I think the biggest issue facing a game that has like 10 years of like history behind it is literally just stagnation and the fear of messing up, right? You've gone so far, right? You got so far, you've done so much, but you don't want to like, oh, if I screw up here, I'm gonna lose like 10 years worth of vanguarding, right? No, you gotta keep on going forward. Like when stagnation really happens and it sets in, people just silently leave the game. They just go, oh yeah, we had a good run, you know, but I think I've done that, you know, I've done it. I'll just do something else. They disappear, and then like a year down the track, you're like, where did all the players go? Where did they go, right? So yeah, don't be afraid to take the risks. You know, you got to be confident when you're taking them, right? Because there's still a lot of things that I think can be done with Vanguard. And if you want to go another 10 years, right, you have to have the courage, right? You have to have the, you know, the strength to try these new things, right? As well as keeping an ear out for your customers, right? You know, knowing what they want, which honestly, I feel like they've been doing quite okay, right? They've been doing well, especially with the global side too, right? They've really stepped up. I feel like they really have the pulse on the situation way more than they did before, right? So that is a definite plus. So yeah, don't be afraid to take risks, because, you know, you're gonna get some wins, you're gonna get some losses, but overall, I think you're gonna get more wins than losses, and that's basically the way, right? Taking those risks is the way to make Vanguard like just get back to like a golden age, right? Get back to that golden age. So that's it from me. All right, I somehow rambled on for quite a while. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, right? It's been a year of Standard, nearly a year of Standard. What does Vanguard need? What do you like about Vanguard? What Vanguard should change? I think a lot of people are going to say OTs, but let's try and keep that to a more minimum, because I think that there's a lot of things that are good and a lot of things that can be changed. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.